Welcome in to another episode of DB's Best Bets presented by Full Time Roundup. Harrison, I don't know about you, but that betting music makes me feel some type of way. How are we doing tonight on recording on a Wednesday night here? You're going to the beach to Dirty Myrtle this weekend. I'm just going to have a chill weekend here. Probably will catch the FC match on Sunday, but how are we feeling?
Feeling good. This morning wasn't good. Had an absolute migraine when I woke up and felt like an absolute loser. But other than that, solid games in the Champions League today. Good to watch always. When you get to see penalties, it's a treat. So yeah, I'm happy to be back. Happy to talk about some more games.
We've been treated some great football as of late, and you came on the show last week after the Champions League, and we had a great time discussing that. And then we had a Monday or a Sunday show as well with Ewan, our good friend. So if you haven't listened to that, go ahead and do yourself a favor and check that one out. And then me and a good friend of mine, Johnny Hayes from Charlotte Soccer Show, he'll be coming on to discuss tomorrow the Champions League slate that took place. So gonna have a good time. I'm talking about that. Matt will be back on Sunday. So if you've missed his dear voice on our show, he will be back on Sunday. I actually helped him move in a little bit today to his new apartment.
Good guy.
And yeah, great guy. And so if you're listening to this video, go ahead and like and subscribe this video and show us, that you're a rider with us with our plays. If you're listening to one of our podcasts, go ahead and download and give us a 5-star review, as it helps to spread our brand. And follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Full Time Roundup. Haven't been as active as I wanted to be recently, just because I've been slammed with work and life and things, but I'll get back into it. So let's go ahead and debrief what was last week's plays, starting off with the Champions League slate. Arsenal money line. This is going a full week now. Arsenal money line did not hit against Bayern. They drew due to a terrible defensive display by some of the best center backs there are in the world here, with Saliba and Gabriel. And, they went ahead and shot themselves in the foot again against Bayern this week. So Arsenal just doing what they do best, bottling every single competition they ever get into.
You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. Yeah, I didn't take anything the first game. I let it ride also today because I had a future on Bayern to advance that we took in our future show way back.
Great
So
cash.
that was, yeah, and I lost value on it because it was like plus 125 before the first game opened. I got it like a plus 100, but hey, we take those still. I don't know, kind of a weird tie, I guess. Like Arsenal didn't look great. Like I feel like in either, and really their last couple of games they just haven't looked themselves, against West Ham obviously as well, or sorry, Aston Villa. But yeah, that was nice. Bayern, impressive. Kimmich flying header today, that was pretty sick. But yeah, it was nice to see one go through the net, and getting a little Bayern advance at plus money. That was cheeky.
That's great. I need a review. I think I had Arsenal to advance. We went head to head on that possibly. So yeah, that's fantastic for me. But you had Atletico Madrid money line last week, and that cashed against Dortmund, so that was good. And then you also doubled up your luck here with Madrid City over 3.5 or 2.5, and you were just eating in the Champions League last week.
Yeah, last week was nice. Can't say the same necessarily for this week, but it was last week was great. I mean, Atletico in that first leg at the Met, as we like to say, they looked phenomenal. First half, I guess. Dortmund came back and played well the second half. I followed up Atletico Dortmund this week with a 2.5 under, and
We
that
both
did
did.
not have the slightest chance in the world. Yeah, I thought maybe it would just kind of be like one of those, like, maybe not Atletico. I don't know if they were going to park the bus, but I thought that they would at least play super defensive minded, not try to give anything up. And then once Dortmund scored the first, it's like the floodgates completely opened, and we just saw an absolute monsoon of goals. So, yeah, 2.5 didn't have a chance, and it's funny because the first goal was scored literally, like, right after I texted you that I took the 2.5, so, yeah, I just shouldn't have even said anything, but that's okay. Um, did you have anything in that game this year? You had the under also?
I took the under 3.5 with the over and 2.5 in Barca, PSG, and Mbappe anytime. So my only leg not to hit was the under here. Thought under 3.5 was going to be, at least cake. I would be scared about under 2.5, but I was thinking no way there'd be 3 goals with Simeone as well as Terzic, but some bad goalkeeping, some bad defending, and some good attacking as well. That Fulkrug header was something else as well. So that under did not stand a chance. But Mbappe anytime was free. I texted you today about maybe the over as well as it was KDB's world and we're just living in it. KDB did score the goal, so I went kind of 1-1 just between our texts. We didn't give any Champions League picks out this week because I knew just some of these games would get real weird real fast. But some great games, and I stayed away from the Bayern Arsenal games just because I had no dog in the fight there. I had no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah, that Madrid City tie was awesome. I mean, going back, I had the over last week. That was free. We just saw some great goals. I mean, Foden, Vardiol, Valverde, all with stunners. So that was a great game at the Bernabeu. And then today, it was really City domination, and Ancelotti kind of pulled an Arteta from a couple weeks ago and kind of parked the bus, and City still just could not get through. I mean, they had some good chances in the first half, but Madrid pretty much scored on their only shot. So on a little nice play from Vinicius to Rodrigo. I did before the game take a bonus bet on Madrid to advance at plus 250, I believe. So that was nice to see be a little winner. Obviously, once you go to penalties, you don't really know, and I know that Madrid was completely out of gas. But thank you, Bernardo Silva, for throwing one right down the middle.
Some of the worst penalties I think I've ever witnessed in my entire life happened in that game. I mean, for two of the teams that are arguably two of the best teams in the world, if not the two best teams in the world, to be in these cup competitions and to look like that during penalties was just unbelievable. But I loved Ederson stepping up and absolutely bearing his penalty.
Yeah, that was nice.
I was like, all right.
To see Antonio. It's also good to see Antonio Rudiger just like still dominate City. It's what he does. Wins Champions League against them. He just knocks De Bruyne out of the game in the final, and now he's coming up and taking the game-winning penalty. So yeah, that was nice to see Madrid. They're just Champions League gods. I don't know what to say at this point. Like they just
do magic.
Doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter who they play or what the occasion is. They'll find their way through. So yeah, that was an exciting tie though.
That's correct. After I saw Ederson take it, I was like, all right, well, there should be a rule that if a goalkeeper takes it, the other goalkeeper has to take it. I was like, all right, Lunin,
I like that.
Trot back out there. Let's see it. The Ukrainian wonder keeper made some great saves. I was like, go ahead and slot one against Ederson like Ederson just did to you. That should be a rule. We should, bring that to UEFA.
I love that. I like that a lot. Also, shout out Mateo Kovacic for throwing me an absolute bone as well. Chelsea legend.
Gotta love that. Both Croatians missed, Modric and Kovacic. So it was a bad day for Croatia. You could say that.
Good observation.
Thank you. But going to the Europa League, Liverpool 1.5. Both had it. Disgusting, and more disgusting. 2 Anfield losses. I've already gotten into it plenty of times, so don't want to harp on it too much. But, I'm ready to get hurt again tomorrow. But that game was such a surprise, just some bad misses, just bad play altogether. Just everything was bad. And Liverpool are kind of on the ropes now for both the Premier League and the Europa League and have a big tie tomorrow. So we'll see. And I might have a play here later for you when it comes to that game. But yeah, you had Liverpool 1.5 as well. So I'm sorry that you had to watch that game. It was very bad, but you had a really bad beat with AC Milan money line.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully I just didn't even watch this game, so I'm glad I wasn't watching it live. But I don't know. Yeah, it's you expect Milan to take care of business at the San Siro, and it just didn't go that way. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Obviously, another huge game. But yeah, I'm just thankful I wasn't watching it.
Yeah, it wasn't very pretty, and possible penalties and handballs and controversy there. So maybe in a different alternate universe, you would have gotten that win. But we'll go ahead and move on to the weekend slate that did happen last weekend. I had Luton City over 4, and you had City team total over 3.5. Both no sweat cashes there. Good win. Luton overs continue to print. Gotta love it.
Yeah, I sweated it a little bit. I think it was like 1-0.
You
until,
had
like,
to
close to
you
like
had
the
to sweat it
40th
a little
minute.
bit.
I think it was like 1-0 into like the 40th, and I was like, I'd love another one before halftime here. But yeah, we got the job done. Finished 5-1. Yeah, it was 1-0 until the 64th minute. So they came late and they came fast. So I
You
don't
can
mind
say that again.
Oh yeah, I can.
Excuse me.
But I won't.
Yeah, no, yeah, we will not repeat that. You also sticking to the Premier League. You had Bournemouth Pick'em, which was a push against United, and talk about that game a little bit. The Cherries.
Yeah, I mean, it started off well. Solanke early goal. Thought, hey, my line reading. I don't know. Maybe I'm a sharp now. But then Penandez wanted to decide to show up and kind
Good
of
one.
spoil the party. So yeah, thank you. So 2-2 at Bournemouth. Yeah, it's a push in the end. Would have liked to win there just because I think Bournemouth played well, honestly, and really United on the road is kind of just like I don't know, hodgepodge of just trash, to be honest. So um, yeah, I don't know. Kind of indifferent about this one. Would have liked to win, but I'm cool with the push.
Yeah, so going over to the Bundesliga, gave out 2 plays here, and I'm gonna go with the loss first, which was I don't even have words for this. Hoffenheim plus a half point. The much better team. They're like 6th, 7th, or 8th. I can't remember which one. Playing a relegation favorite, Mainz. Mainz are hot. I mentioned, they beat Darmstadt 4-0. And then they went and Hoffenheim scored the first goal. I'm like, well, I'm a genius. I'm a sharp. Bundesliga is my bitch. And then Mainz just went and scored 4 in a row and beat Hoffenheim 4-1. I don't think Mainz has ever scored 4 consecutive goals, in a row in 2 separate games, but they did here, and completely got that one wrong. Can't believe I don't even know what went wrong there either. Weird one. But yeah, that at least
4
if you're gonna
second half
lose,
goals.
yeah, all of them.
They pulled a Bournemouth against Luton.
Yep, they sure did. They sure did, and. If you're going to lose in miraculous fashion, and that's what they did. So whatever. But Freiburg moneyline brought the coin home from Germany here. One of the most ugly games I've ever watched in my entire life against Darmstadt. And I was at the point where if they didn't beat Darmstadt, Freiburg would have never came out of my mouth anymore ever of all time. Never. Because you can't lose to the worst or draw the worst team in the league. I mean, Darmstadt, me and you should get some roster selections for the Bundesliga too, because they are that bad. But glad to bring the coin home for that. And then we'll go to a little bit of MLS action. I took a couple MLS plays here, but we'll start with the one we took together. As soon as I put it on my card, I knew it was a loss. Charlotte, Toronto under 2.5 looks so good up until the 40th minute. And Kerwin Vargas opened his account for the season with a volley from outside the box off a glancing header from Copetti. And then in the second half, this game ran rampant.
Yeah, this one became a mega nuke for me, and I really wish it wasn't. Yeah, of course, Kerwin Vargas decides to actually score a goal. And then second half, like I thought the first Toronto goal was offside, like first glance.
It was close.
Still kind of did. It was close. I don't know. I still don't trust MLS VAR, but just because I don't see the lines on there like I do with the EPL. At least they like show me a little behind the scenes. I don't get anything with the MLS. It's just like I feel like they just put random people in the room. But
I feel like Don Garber gets
yeah,
like final cut on all VAR calls or something because
I
we
could
got Charlotte FC
I
got
could
one
definitely
called
see
back
that.
that was ridiculous. I mean, we scored a goal and they called some like ticky tacky foul on a free
Yeah,
kick.
yeah.
Like I don't know what was going on in that game.
They called like a. It was almost like the similar to the Chelsea Liverpool pick in the FA Cup or in the Carabao Cup final, but it was to a way less extent. Like you could,
It was so
he
soft.
barely even touched him at all. But yeah, once it became 1-1, I started to really fear for myself. And then they got the goal. They got the goal called back. I thought, hey, you know what? Maybe today, like showing to me some mercy, and then Toronto just decides to just completely get the ball right to Abada. And yeah, with him on the field, I'm a little nervous about the Charlotte unders now, just because he is a threat and really the only threat that Charlotte has now, but he's a threat. Um, so yeah, also he doesn't really track back defensively, so like maybe more goals the other way because there were so many transition opportunities for Toronto that I was like, oh my gosh, this could get really ugly. And in the end, it actually did. It actually never had a chance. But yeah. So Charlotte, Toronto, that was a bad one. That was a bad one for me.
We might have to flip it because you know who else is a goal threat that you forgot to mention? We're talking about Call Pat here. Pat Ajimon, second or third goal this season. He's probably gonna start over Capetti this week, and you
Oh, we
know,
should.
Charlotte. We did this show before Charlotte FC came out that Malanda was going to be out, and if Malanda was out as we did the show, I probably would not have taken the under. But hindsight's
You're right.
hindsight, and you know we're gonna have to reevaluate these Charlotte unders because I'm not sure where it's gonna go from here. But at
Yeah.
least we
Yeah.
had a fun ride while it lasted. Now I also had a couple other um, overs with the LAFC Sporting Kansas City over 3, free money, and Miami Sporting Kansas City over 3, free money. Messi, when Messi's on the field, you just know you got to take the over and anytime goal or assist for him. So that was a good little cash for me. So, you know, I'll take that to the bank and I'll keep, you know, coming with MLS plays because I seem to hit at a pretty good rate when it comes to this league. Now, you, not to forget, had Real Madrid money line as well. And that was a good win this last weekend as well.
Yeah, it was one of those games where like, it's kind of a trap, but you're still going to take it because Madrid is way better than Mallorca. And honestly, I just got saved by a Chouameni banger. So,
Oh,
um,
rocket.
an absolute missile. So, yeah, a slimy one for sure. But we take those dubs anyway. So,
And yeah, knowing it's a trap and still taking it is a very reoccurring theme on the show. But that's
happened with
okay.
Freiburg too.
Happened with Freiburg, and we actually came out unscathed there. So I'll take it. I went 5-4 last week. How'd you do?
I believe I went 4-3-1, so not too bad.
Not too bad,
That
but
doesn't include the plays that we had this week, but from the plays we gave, 4-3-1.
yeah. But don't fret. We have some more bangers this week. And we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Starting off with the Europa League tomorrow, Atalanta, Liverpool over 3.5. Look, fellas, look. Jurgen Klopp is going to throw every single thing he possibly can at this game. So this could go either really well for Liverpool or this could be like a 4-2 Atalanta win. Atalanta also, a couple days ago, had a 2-0 lead against Hellas Verona, a relegation favorite, and they ended up tying 2-2. So, and they played a full strength lineup. So what I'm saying is I'm not going to back Liverpool here, even though it's minus 150, because I can't trust them. They hurt me. I'm ready to get hurt tomorrow. It's okay. I know that now. The last week has been a surprise. This is not going to be a surprise for me. But if there's anything I do know, this game is going to fly over, and over 3.5 is a great line to take.
I love it. You gave the perfect explanation there. As a fan, yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. Like, what does Liverpool have to lose here? They're just gonna send guys forward and try to score as many goals as they can, and they're gonna be open to the back. That's expected. So whether it's Atalanta on the counter or it's Liverpool just finding their way maybe back into the tie, I don't see how this one doesn't go over this time.
Yep. And I mean, you could very well see 4 starting attackers for Liverpool. So I don't know how that's going to work in the back and in the
I would love
midfield,
that.
but we've done it before. It's kind of worked, and I could see Jurgen throwing out Salah, Gakpo, Jota, and maybe Diaz. Probably I would bench Nunez here, but that's just me. And we'll see kind of what we have. Now, I have a Europa Conference League play. Played this over last week quietly as I was looking at the numbers. And I think it was ended 3-3 or 4-3 or something, or 3-2, something like that. Flew over basically. And Fenerbahce are going to be home. They're the better team, and they are down 1. They're down 3-2 actually, or 2-3 in the tie. So they're going to have to throw everything out this game, and therefore I think that they'll have nothing to lose, and we could see some fireworks in this match as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take that over 3 at the safe number. Any thoughts on that? Or, I mean, it's a pretty ugly Conference League game. Sure. But we do have
the numbers don't lie.
The numbers do not lie. That is correct. And now we get to go to this weekend slate, starting with El Clasico. And there was nothing better than me looking at the doc, and I knew I was taking El Clasico over 3, and I said, if Harrison doesn't have over 3 in El Clasico, I don't even think we're friends anymore. And then sure enough, I saw it on there. It was the first one you put there, and I said, I still got faith in my good friend, because we're going to ride this to the death, and this is going to be a really fun game, probably the best game all weekend. And I would be very surprised if this game doesn't fly over.
Yeah, we're going to need it too. Honestly, I thought about playing Barca, but again, like, there's a lot of questions going on with Xavi now, and I just couldn't get myself to. And I know that Madrid are going to be probably still feeling it a little bit from today. But yeah, you know how I am. It's fun games mean over for me, and I just want to enjoy. So I hope this game goes over. It'll be awesome, as it always is. El Clasico, I feel like, always lives up to the hype. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Sunday and the battle between these two Spanish titans.
No doubt. Now, I wanted to get to the FA Cup real quick. You have another to advance here, and I want you to explain if this is a heart or head bet.
Heart. Well, hold up, mostly heart. Listen, City just played 120, and
lost.
They're lost. So maybe a little nervy there, but they're also fully in control right now of the Prem. So you have to take that into account. They have a lot going on.
I wouldn't say fully in control.
They're in the driver's seat. You would say that.
Okay, I would admit that, yes.
And there's not a lot left. So Chelsea's plus 225 to advance, and we know how Chelsea is against good teams. It's the weirdest thing in the world. They enjoy playing against competition that potentially are even higher than them, and they hate to play against teams that suck, except for this weekend because Cole Palmer's a god. And maybe that can also play into this because it's another Cole Palmer revenge game and a big on a big stage at Wembley. So it's going to go through him. We know that if he shows up, Chelsea has a chance. So I'm nervous about our back line still, even though we just kept a clean sheet for what feels like the first time in forever. It's still Man City. It's still a ton of firepower. They're going to put a good lineup out there because this is a semifinal. But okay. Oh, okay, yeah, over. I thought you were about to just say City to advance.
That would have been good.
I was like, okay, this doesn't mean anything at all. But yeah, I don't know. I got a weird feeling that a good Chelsea's going to show up this weekend. I know it doesn't usually happen 2 games in a row, but it just kind of feels like against the good teams we put in good games. So I don't know. I feel like it's plus 225 is good value against a tired City squad. So I'm gonna take it.
No, I can't blame you. And I just added a play here: City Chelsea over 3. That's a safe number. And I feel like these games have produced fireworks in the past. Cole Palmer is in the best form he's ever been in ever. City off a loss. So I don't know. I'm not going to pick a side here, but either way, I think one side's going to beat up on another side. So I'm taking the over 3.
Sure. I don't mind that logic either.
And let's see, I'm looking at head-to-head real quick just to see, last game was 1-1, but the game before that was 4-4. And
last game was 1-1, but last game was 1-1. It
was insane.
Chelsea lived on the counter. The counter. It was at City, so we know City dominates games at home. And they'll probably dominate possession here because it's what they do, but also it's like, I don't know. There's another chance for fireworks here, so I don't mind the over also.
And in the FA Cup, other fixture, I have United Coventry over 3. I think United might do some very bad things to Coventry here. Coventry have lost the last 2 games. The over is cashed in both of those games. And I think United have everything to play for in this FA Cup to get to the final at least. So Ten Hag saves his job. So he's going to throw out a strong lineup. And I think they're going to be able to get it done here. But there's zero value in United here. I also have a Manchester City FA Cup future parlayed with Bayer Leverkusen Polkai. Love the cup. So I'm just going to be writing that with no dog in the fight there. Now to get to the other action here, we'll stick with the English side. I have Liverpool, Fulham over 3.5. Fulham kind of has our number. Depending on how we play against Atalanta, this could be also a really bad game or a really good game. Fulham have been hot and cold, you would say. But they just haven't really. I just think this, fixture always produces goals. So I'm going to go ahead and back the over here. Yeah. Now let's get to some Bundesliga. I don't know if this is like an actual rivalry or not, but Dortmund Leverkusen play after Leverkusen, they do play this week against West Ham, but they do play Dortmund, who need, had a big win, but they do need 3 points here to kind of jump into third and or fourth, excuse me. And do you think they'll be able to do it, or are you just not going to back aside and just back in goals?
I definitely could see Dortmund doing it. I wouldn't be shocked to see Leverkusen maybe take their foot off the gas a little bit just because they've already clinched. Yeah, I think with the thinking that maybe Leverkusen will take their foot off the gas, maybe defensively they won't be there as much. It is a big game. So again, like I could completely be wrong about that, but also Dortmund's in good goal scoring form now all of a sudden. So, and we know that they have dynamic players. Fulkrug might be in good form now. Who knows? They have other players. Julian Brandt obviously is in decent form as well. So I don't know. I think Leverkusen have a lot of firepower going forward themselves, which is why they won the league. But Dortmund also can bring it. So I think over 3, even with a push here, I'm cool with taking it just because it's also another fun game, and I me. So I don't know. I feel like this game could be like a 2-2, honestly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd happen to agree. And when it comes to Bundesliga, I have Hoffenheim Gladbach over 3.5. I think it's been more than 20 games since Hoffenheim kept a clean sheet. Just absolutely got a four-burger put on their head against Mainz. Gladbach are not a good team defensively, so they probably will score on Hoffenheim, but I think Hoffenheim should be able to put at least 2, if not 3, against Gladbach here. So I'm not really going to sweat this one. This is not the one I'm worried about. And then I have Werder Bremen, and Stuttgart over 3. Stuttgart's one of the best attacking teams in the league. Werder Bremen just got beat 5-0 by Bayer Leverkusen and then proceeded to have the entire stadium rushed onto them. So we'll see if they'll react against another really good team here, or since they're safe, they could just roll over and get absolutely killed by Stuttgart, who is just one of the best stories in entire Europe. So I like the storyline. I like Stuttgart a lot, and I'm going to ride the over 3 here.
I like Stuttgart a lot too. I'm not probably not going to play anything in the game, but yeah, I mean,
Undav or
great.
Kurasi. And then, sorry, I didn't even see that you had a Premier League pick. You're going back to the well with Bournemouth Pick'em here.
Yeah, and again with Bournemouth, it's another kind of line reading thing. Just like I feel like Aston Villa's at home this week against Bournemouth, and they're only minus 130, and they just beat Arsenal on the road. Like I just like something about that's a little fishy to me. So I'm gonna play the other side because Aston Villa just feels too easy.
And Europa League or Europa Conference League.
That too. They could their lineup. We don't really exactly know who they're going to throw out there, but yeah, it's just kind of a fishy line. And I like Bournemouth here. They've been playing good soccer, even with the draw last week. So feels like a good spot. And if you take them at draw or tie no bet, so if you draw, you push. I pick them essentially. They're like plus 225. So I don't mind that at all.
Oh, so you're not even going with a plus a half. You're going straight with the plus odds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
Thank you.
Respect. Now, you have Athletic Bilbao 1.5 against a very, very bad Granada. And I completely know why you're doing this. Is this at home?
It is at home, yeah.
Yeah.
This
Me gusta.
big game for Bilbao. Obviously, they're fighting for top 4. They're 4 points back of Atletico. They got to get this one. I mean, this one's massive. They have to get this one. So I'm going to back them here in a big spot to win comfortably against Granada. Granada sucks, and Athletic obviously have firepower going forward with the Williams boys. So we should be all right here. I feel pretty good about this one.
I feel pretty good about it too. I will probably play this on my own time, but like Bilbao, unbeaten in 19 home games. Just a little stat for you. Me gusta. Now, I do have one MLS game because I can't be a fraud and not take an MLS game. Thought about taking the Charlotte over. I'm going to lean Charlotte over here against Minnesota. Timu Pukki and the boys are coming to town on a Sunday at 6 o'clock kickoff. Should be a beautiful day for that. I'll actually probably
Finnish Flash.
No, absolutely the Finnish. That's the first. But I do have Kansas City, St. Louis over 2.5 here. Kansas City just kind of print goals, and I think this one should be a fun one. And the numbers liked it, so love Kansas City, St. Louis over 2.5 here.
Johnny Russell, anytime goal scorer?
Absolutely not. Now, okay. Harrison, before we wrap up here, do you have any props, or are you all good here?
God, I took one late this past week. It was Cole Palmer to score or assist against Everton.
I was mad you didn't send that before.
I'm sorry. It was minus 120 or whatever it was, and I was like, I mean, if Chelsea win the game, you know he's going to do something. He ends up scoring 4. So that was actually the most free bet I think I've ever taken in my life. If I have
I'm putting
Chelsea
you on the
advance,
spot,
I'll probably if I take Chelsea at advance, I'll probably dabble on Palmer again, because that's what he does right now. He's just the hottest player on the planet.
Yeah. I didn't take Palmer because I just assumed, being one of the top goal scorers, that there's no way to score or assists would be that like low of odds. And when you sent me that bet, I was like, What a dumb line. Like, if I saw that, I would have smashed that. That was too easy.
Yeah, it was weird. He was like minus 120, and I think Nicholas Jackson was like minus 110. They scored 5 of the 6. I don't know. I guess maybe they thought that it was time for Chelsea's offense to roll over, but it just hasn't. I don't know. All of a sudden, we just score goals at a extremely high clip. So I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe some sort of goal or assist for Vinicius in the Madrid game. I could see him getting involved because he loves big games like that.
I'm thinking
But I have
Holland.
nothing concrete. Ooh.
I think Holland might haunt that back line of yours a little bit off a loss. The Viking.
I mean, shit. When it was 1-1 at City, he had 5 glorious chances and missed every single one of them. I feel like he's in a little bit of a rut right now, so it wouldn't surprise me if he broke out against my boys. But I don't know. I have nothing concrete. But if I'm leaning something, it'll probably be a Palmer goal or assist or a Vinicius goal or assist right now. Just looking at the slate.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and recap here, Harrison. I have Atalanta Liverpool over 3.5, Fenerbahce Olympiacos over 3, Barca Madrid over 3, Hoffenheim Gladbach over 3.5, Kansas City St. Louis over 2.5, Fulham Liverpool over 3.5, Bremen Stuttgart over 3, United Coventry over 3, City Chelsea over 3. What do you have?
Atalanta Liverpool over 3.5, Athletic Bilbao minus 1.5, Barca Madrid over 3, Chelsea to advance in the FA Cup, Bournemouth Pick'em, and Dortmund Leverkusen over 3.
You heard it here first. Go ahead and tail. Let us know if you tail one. I actually got some nice words in the alumni tournament saying, "Hey, you've been saving the bankroll with some of these plays y'all been handed out. Appreciate you."
Really?
Said thank you. I appreciate it. You must have selective listening, but thank you. And that is it for episode 15. Harrison, thank you as always for joining in. Enjoy the beach this weekend and best of luck with all the bets and Chelsea.